how much you move. Huggies pants comfortably fit baby's tummy. Their 360-degree comfort fit waistband makes them easy to open and pull off and on. So baby can keep on exploring and you keep doing great, Mom. Now in a new look pack.
No matter how I do, you love me unconditionally. So I love me every day, no matter when I show you. You show me love. You show me, no matter when I show you. You show me love. You show me love.
Shy.
I don't like. I tell her now, sure. Go down, show. You want to be in and what?
I'm just so relaxed now.
Now I believe you well over here. Back. Go back.
Okay.
You know, I say you don't want to make I feel now because I know they try your number. See, your number no they go.
You know, say for my area, see, many of the back where I've been telling why they come down, go to there. God forbid it.
That place you go pack about. If you play this game and this game enter, or not to pack come up with that, I go back.
Remember that I was given.
Or that chief, I will forget you. I will come.
I can pay, not pay show. I don't get to check out. I told you that I was going to play so that I want you to see. But so I thought I would find you. I want to go. Teach me how to do updating. That's it.
Your matter like first of all they marry you and give because they ask and because they know you and you do that kind of thing. I'm not going to do that.
I have that.
You don't say. Okay. Get too slow now. We like slow game. See, everyone go just cash out. People will just say, "Where we go? We don't go up ticket anyhow."
Really play this evening. So I just the effects. Choose the effects anyhow. This guy is not going to come with it.
Game be like strong game. Yeah? The game too strong for person to lose am.
Just imagine now. I don't use almost 5,000 to play this game. I swear. I use almost 5,000 to play this game. Don't go see I use my microscopic sense to content message.
You go get the people be say that. Na 300 naira. You still dey pay me.
Same type of donation.
If I no try. Oh. You go pay person even sense.
See what's that? My come here to bash. I know I should feel, but don't worry, you know, see you now just want that song now you did break the wake up. I mean, what else? Just matters.
What has no be? I didn't tell you to be young. It can say what has no be. Yeah? If you believe that we will call this a bit specific. You get caught one time. You have to put in ticket.
Chief, you're welcome. You know, we play one game for this morning now, so the ticket just cut.
Put the ticket they got or say or something.
The ticket cut now, we play them this morning, ticket cut. Now, do you all give me, give us. I mean, the game where you give us, now we play.
It is not possible. I cannot lose more.
What's your lunch? Now, 1,000 naira you take play now. 1,000 naira.
100,000. That you did not listen.
You think that's called that's called. You cannot leave your
Welcome to Africa, the land of recent civilization.
Every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise. Remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
What What is happening? Your eyes are red. Your hand is a machete and a gun.
See, I am angry and I can't even contain it. See,
My guy, calm down. Calm down.
see, Oga, I have planned to go and destroy these people's businesses in the city. I have to retaliate for what they've done at our place. They cannot eat their cake and have it now, never.
If you destroy their business here and they destroy that of those close to you over there, especially that your brother who sends you steady cash, how would you survive? Would your dreams be on hold?
See, what you're saying is correct, but I'm still angry.
This way is to embrace peace. With peace and unity,
people, let us embrace peace and unity. Let's learn to live as brothers and sisters for a progressive, prosperous nation. This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
In the moment, we've been waiting. It's time to rise up, do it again. Africa, do the dance now. Bottle open and dance now. Still we never lose it again. We can rise up, yes we gon' rise up, Africa rise up. Africa rise up, yes we gon' rise up, Africa rise up.
Diary Media, in association with Kabbalah Entertainment, presents The Candidate, a presidential town hall meeting series where the presidential candidates of the 6 leading political parties tell us about their plans for the country. Joe Kabbalah Arroyo has been its path into the world of these candidates from the 17th to the 23rd of November 2022. This very important program will be streamed on FRCN, Radio Now, DSTV, NTA, Facebook, YouTube, and more. This is a town hall meeting you shouldn't miss. Tune in. Let's hear from the candidates.
Hello and welcome. This is NTA Tuesday Live, and I'm Cyril. Commencement of the campaigns ahead of the 2023 general elections. Political parties have been reaching out to Nigerians, canvassing for votes. But how have the campaigns been conducted? A panel of discussants on NTA Tuesday Live as we examine how to tackle political violence and ensure decorum as the campaign trains of the parties and candidates traverse the length and breadth of Nigeria in line with the new Electoral Act. But before we go into the conversation, let's get to see this report by Caleb Wuchin.
Political activities are major ingredients for the enthronement of any democratic government, and these normally come with their challenges. One major concern that has dominated the polity for over the years is the violence that erupts during electioneering periods, leaving behind casualties, especially during campaigns, with property destroyed. Successive governments have made efforts to curtail such political violence with appreciable levels of success. An interaction with some major political actors and stakeholders in Jos reveals some interesting insight.
Politicians are often very desperate in the process of competing for political power, and that leads to violence.
The trigger sometimes could be as a result of a dispute, over electoral outcomes. If the process is not adjudged to be free and fair and transparent, it could also be a recipe for that kind of agitation or contestation, leading ultimately, eventually, to violence.
I think it's lack of justice, lack of fair play, and so on and so forth. And as a party, we have put in place structures that ensure that there is justice and there is fairness.
The journey, even though rough, has not been without its positive sides, as Nigerians are becoming more enlightened about their rights and responsibilities in governance. And with current efforts by the electoral body, they are hopeful of a more transparent exercise, which will go a long way in checking any violence, especially in the months and days leading to the 2023 general elections.
I'm very happy and glad that moving forward as a nation, you will see that the Independent National Electoral Commission has come up with certain regulations to forestall these violences that we are talking about.
The political establishment in Nigeria has to take cognizance of the developments that are unfolding in our political history. Once we pay a proper attention as major players in the political arena, I do not think that there will be any reason for any form of reaction.
On a very short run, we need to ensure that the security forces arrest the perpetrators and their sponsors. If that is done, we would likely see a reduction, in the occurrence of this violence.
In all this, the consensus is that tolerance of opposite opinions is key for peaceful campaigns, with the electorate and indeed all Nigerians should see themselves as major players in the enthronement of a lasting and peaceful democracy. Caleb Gochin.
All right, I'm being joined now by the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC, Yaba Gisani, who joins us via Zoom from Lagos. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And let me also welcome Chief Superintendent of Police Olumuyiwa Adejobi. He's the first public relations officer. He also joins us via Zoom from Ilorin. Thanks for being with us, CSP Adejobi.
Good evening, how are you?
Good. All right. The campaigns have kicked off, and politicians have crisscrossing the landscape, selling their parties and their manifestos and canvassing for votes. But let's get a feel of how it's been so far. And let me go to the chairman, IPAC, and say, from what we have seen, from what has been going on, what's a fair assessment of the campaign so far?
The campaign so far has been very eventful, in the sense that most political parties are now geared up to sell their programs to Nigerians, and I believe that Nigerians are also very much ready, in terms of the excitement that has greeted most of these campaigns.
2023 election is going to be like no other election because the whole world is watching Nigeria. Nigerians, more than ever before, like I said, are excited about this election for obvious reasons because what has happened so far in terms of the journey in the entrenchment of democracy and the most populous country on the continent of Africa, which is Nigeria, the largest economy, has been something that has really jolted up, most discerning Nigerians, and the need, or rather the desire, to have possibly a much more engaging in terms of how their lives are changed for the better as far as governance is concerned. It is something that has moved most people, majority of Nigerians, to become more actively active in their participation in these elections. And again, the fact that the electoral empire, that is INEC, has come out with innovations that has further given Nigerians some level of assurance that votes will count. The electoral law itself, which has been signed into law, is also another area that has given the required legal framework to ensure that votes, are not just taken for granted. I mean, are not compromised as it used to be. So the commitment of INEC too, is another thing that has given Nigerians the confidence that this time around, like I've said, elections will be something that will stand Nigeria out as a serious country. This confidence coming from the conduct, what INEC has done, and the fact that even the security agencies, if you remember, just I think on the 17th of October, of this month, we had an engagement with IGP, that is the Bureau of Police, regarding the unfortunate occurrences of violence that has taken place in about 52 of them, in the last count, and since the beginning of the campaigns, the IGP, had interaction with us. That is all the political parties, the registered 18 registered political parties in Nigeria, and the message is that the police is more than ever ready to ensure that they do not allow these ugly instances to continue, meaning that they don't want to allow the issue of violence, which care is not taken, may disrupt what we are trying to achieve in terms of free, fair, credible elections come 2023. So it was heartwarming because that's the first time the IGP in my recollection, at any point in time, having direct interaction with the political parties. And you could see also that this cascading down, because I have heard of some states also having engagement with the police commissioners in those places. So I think so far what has happened is that we are having all the agencies of government, especially where I mentioned INEC and the police. These are lead agents, in fact, as far as the election is concerned in this country, meaning that the police, in terms of security agencies, is lead agency, and INEC, of course, is the electoral body, the regulatory body that is charged with the conduct of elections in the country. And these two agencies have shown that they are more than ready, in terms of ensuring that votes count. So, and the politicians themselves, mainly I'm talking about now the two political parties, the presidential candidates, and myself inclusive, have stepped up, to the plate to demonstrate to Nigerians that we are ready to give this country the kind of government it deserves and like I said, so which means all the elements, everything that you require in a democracy, to be in place so that you have end of the day a result of exercise that will meet the international standard is in place.
All right. Well, just like you mentioned, I suppose that you have first-hand knowledge of this because being on the campaign trail yourself, at some point in time we'll return to you and find out that you are a candidate, but we also would like to get a feel of what your other supporters and party members, those who are running for other offices, how they're conducting themselves. We'll get back to you. Let's go on to the first public relations officer, CSP Adejobi. And you held a meeting, the police now held a meeting with the parties quite recently. Give us an insight into what you harped on at that meeting. And I'd like you to also keep in mind the trends we're beginning to see now, with this in keeping with what you have planned to do and what you agreed with the parties, the kind of conduct that you expect of them. Yes, CSP Adejobi, if you can hear me. We're trying to get your perspective.
Different yes, the reason, but this is still our info for now. Can you hear me?
Yes,
I'm just trying to explain why I'm on this type of attire tonight, no uniform because of our 13 Biennial games. Now I'm in New now in Akwa Ibom State because of the 13 Biennial police games. And it's part of our preparation for
Ilorin as we introduced. You're in
Ilorin now, not Ilorin.
So sorry, I left Ilorin.
So I'm in Ilorin now.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm just
the police, the television. To discuss the issue of electoral violence and the likes.
I think we'll have to return to Adejobi because there's so much interference on the line. We'll have to return to you and see what can be done to reduce that interference that's coming across the line. But while we're at it, let's go back to the Inter-Party Advisory Council Chairman. And we had said we would ask your assessment. You, as a candidate who's running for office of president, you have subscribed to the need to carry out your campaigns based on issues and to avoid those pitfalls of mudslinging and especially the use of language, the untoward language. But that's you as Yaba Gisani. What is the level of compliance of members of one, your party, and your supporters across board?
Well, I believe that every Nigerian is geared up, like I said, to ensure that this 2023 election succeeds. And the reasons are very obvious. The reasons are that the kind of experience that we have had under the current administration is the one that has challenged every politician and by extension all Nigerians. And this is why the issue of ensuring that these campaigns are issue based and are devoid of any violence it's a fait accompli, because we, like I've always said, the political class is always the first casualty when democracy fails. That means we are the biggest losers. So as far as politicians are concerned, and as far as some informed electors are concerned, everybody wants this election to succeed. And what we have seen so far is that since the violences that we experienced, the agencies, all the responsible stakeholders, I mean the relevant stakeholders, have all rising up to the occasion. By, like I said, IGP has called us many organizations that are engaged in promoting democracy, even the international ones, like I'm in Lagos today attending ECOWAS workshop, which is aimed at ensuring that violence does not continue in these elections, and so which tells you that everybody is alive to the responsibilities of ensuring that this 2023 election succeeds without violence. And the electoral law itself, that is electoral act, has a lot of provisions that, if properly enforced, will deal with the situation in terms of discouraging people from engaging in vote buying, in violence and things like that. The only challenge, which is external to the political class, is the specter of this insecurity, which is outside the violence, which is perpetrated by the political actors, leads banditry. For instance, in Katsina State, I understand about 242 polling units. By what INEC says, and that is about 142,000 registered voters in 10 local governments. INEC is saying that today those areas are not accessible in fact because of the insecurity, and you have a repeat of that in most parts of the country, and to the extent that in fact these non-state actors have issued some kind of threats that no campaign should take place in certain areas. Like in Kaduna State, you have some areas that I understand some non-state actors have issued warning conditions that they shouldn't come there to even campaign, not talk about elections being conducted. So the threats from the security, the threat for the bandits and the other insurgents, it's even more real, and than the violence, which of course you can easily take care of, meaning that the violence coming from the campaigns can be easily contained. The one that we want government to do more is that of the threats from these bandits and other insurgency. Look at what happened. I don't know, the empty threats, now it has become an empty threats issued by some governments, United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and all others that say that Nigeria, and particularly Abuja, was not safe, for anybody to come to. Such things are some kind of conspiracy, we don't know, against Nigeria, so that Nigerians become scared of participating in a free, fair, election. So I think government or the president body has been assuring Nigerians that there is going to be a free, fair, credible elections, and he has promised that he is going to leave a legacy of an election that everybody will be proud of, meaning that if a vote will count, and meaning that whoever wins, it doesn't have to be APC, his own party. Any party that wins, he is ready to hand over to that to the presidential candidate of that party. So meaning you have assurances from the highest level of governance, which is Mr. President himself, and he has said this in every opportunity he has. I think he will say that yes, I'm ready to conduct free, fair, and credible election. But what is happening as far as the threats from the insurgents, this banditry and things like that is concerned, is something that I think government needs to step up to the plate and do more, so that kidnapping, killings, raise of innocent people by these bandits, will reduce or be eliminated. Although the agencies also have said that the president are giving them a marching order that by December he wants this banditry to be crushed. That there shouldn't be anything like banditry from December.
All right.
It's heartwarming. It's good for us, the politicians, but in the also electorates. But a lot needs to be done.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to think that we've corrected that little matter with the line, so we can return to CSP Olumira Adejobi. I do hope that that interference has been taken off or minimized. So, CSP Adejobi, if you can hear me, we started off talking about the trends we have seen, the meeting the IG had with the politicians and the parties, and what is manifesting currently, even though it is assumed that at that meeting there would have been some agreement to stay off violence. Let's hear you this time.
Yes, like I was saying, the meeting was called at the instance of the Inspector General of Police to talk to political leaders, party chairmen, and some other members of various political parties. They had about 18 of them in attendance. Before that meeting, there was a meeting of security chiefs, the IGP, CDS, NSC, all of them at the NF office, to address the trend of violence being recorded so far during this electoral process. If I'm not making a mistake, I think we have recorded almost 50-something incidences across the country. And we have just started. We still have a long way to go into the electoral process. If at this early stage we are recording 50-something cases of violence, it's not too palatable enough. It's a bad sign. And that's why at that meeting, office, there was a resolution in the police to take certain steps. One of these resolutions was the IGB to call a meeting of all the political parties, all the political chairmen, and November in the office of the Inspector General of Police at the Force Headquarters, Abuja. And it's clear enough that the message was actually sent to members of various political parties, particularly chairmen of political parties. It's a known fact that the Electoral Act has highlighted some electoral offences, and these laws are there for us to enforce, particularly the police that is being saddled with the responsibility of the leadership of election security management generally, and to be assisted by other security agencies, including the military. That day, the director, chief of defense intelligence was there. DG, DSS sent a representative. NHA chairman sent a representative, and the meeting was so robust that we discussed so many things. And the IGP gave we made it clear that the police will not hesitate to enforce all these law. Background sections 91 and 82 of the Electoral Act, another relevant sections of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended, coupled with provisions of other criminal laws in Nigeria, we will enforce all these laws. And for us to have electoral violence at any point in time when we're having political gathering, activities, campaigns, and the likes. So we actually talked to them, and we had a copy of the resolution to do before now, but because I am away, you're not in Abuja, I don't have a copy with me here. But we had a resolution that henceforth we will not allow, will not tolerate any act of legalism, vandalism, or any electoral violence so far in any part of the country. Institution where people will go and be defacing people's posters, damaging billboards and the likes. And that's why we see that in some states now we have charged certain offenders to court. I am sure Oyo State and some other states like that, we have charged them to court. Those that were arrested defacing posters, damaging billboards, or causing violence at any point in time. So we have made this clear to them. The health act has been read to them. The IGP was clear enough about all this, and we advise them to go and read the electoral act like their Holy Quran or the Holy Bible, so that they can be familiar with the provisions of this law. And the IGP has tried to lecture or to train our pastors to be familiar with this law. You cannot enforce the law you are not familiar with. So that's why the IGP has taken the bull by the horn to train our strategic commanders, commissioners of police and above at our recently concluded conference and retreats in Owerri, Imo State. And aside from that, deputy commissioners of police down to constables rank have been trained across the 6 geopolitical zones to know what to do. Aside from managing the polls itself, the police has a lot to do. Providing conducive environment for electoral activities is one thing. Our environment must be secured. We must have a very free area to even carry out any electoral engagement or political activities whatsoever. Apart from working towards managing or providing security for electioneering processes towards 2023 general elections, the police has a lot to do, and this we have been doing and will not sit down be looking at certain individuals to come and foment trouble in Nigeria or to do things that will threaten our electoral processes in Nigeria. The message is clear. I will continue to remind them, but we will enforce the law where necessary. What we think is there's need for us to mediate into conflicts between either inter-party conflicts or inter-party conflicts. We will do the needful. There's permission for alternative dispute resolution to talk to them. Not all cases like that we can be taken to court, but where it is actually we have violent cases or escalated conflicts resulting from political activities, we will not hesitate to take necessary action and charge people to court after necessary prosecution will be done at all times. So this message is clear, and I think political leaders, party chairmen agree with us in total. We had a resolution and we are going to work according to the resolution we had. We know.
Okay. All right. Well, we also have a number of requests. Yes, okay. We'll try and fix that. I think it's a lot better than when we started off. But we also have a number of reports. The first one is from Lagos by Annie Daniels. Let's get to see it.
In the past weeks, political parties and candidates have been going about campaigning for support from the electorate. This, of course, is normal in a democratic society.
In the course of this journey, we have spoken to many different people, and we find that there is far more engagement in those discussions than has traditionally been the case. We see engagement amongst people who have typically not been engaged, and these are people who are so higher up the, shall we call it, the socioeconomic ladder.
However, some concerned Nigerians fear that with some political parties and candidates making inciting statements, violence will be inevitable. The effects of such actions on the political scene and electorate, my respondents say, will be disastrous.
Don't go around putting so much hate, and at times it becomes even tribal, at times it becomes sectional. So when your region and your religion is a question of your polity, it becomes a problem for the electorate, because we cannot choose people based on actually religion or where they come from. We should be able to manage our supporters.
Last week, the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security was inaugurated at the independent headquarters. So this is going to help to ensure that there's election security and there's little or no political violence.
My respondents argue that hate speech in electoral violence has undermined democratic consolidations in Nigeria, and that shouldn't be the case any longer. They advise that politicians should focus more on issue-based campaigns as embedded in their manifestos. In Lagos, Annie Daniels.
right, we have this next report. This, I believe, is from Owerri, right? Chuma Wankwere.
Several factors are playing out in redefining the political process in parts of the country as the 2023 general elections approach. In Imo State, for instance, a sudden increased consciousness on the part of the youth in registering and acquiring their voter cards. Political campaigns and political town hall meetings have been seamless and violence-free. Be that as it may, some Owerri residents affirm that the desperation of most politicians contributes largely to heating up the body politic, thereby ventilating thuggery, mayhem, and violence in all its shapes.
The extreme desperation of politicians whose interest is to weaponize ethnicity, religion, and other primordial tendencies to take political power by all means. They are the ones that usually trigger electoral violence by mobilizing the young people in a very wrong direction, incentivizing them and protecting them as they go about destroying lives and properties in the name of supporting a candidate or their party.
Pattern of elections or the electioneering process ordinarily shouldn't have been a problem. But unfortunately, a lot of things have snowballed, or rather made it imperative that people now use force. They now apply force. There is the issue of winner take all. There is the issue of people wanting to remain in power at all costs.
They suggested that for political violence to be checked, the key players, who are the politicians themselves, must be conscious to act according to the rules of the game.
So INEC should look inwards and make sure that it checks the conduct of its staff. They should not be influenced by any politician in the first place. So when election is conducted or is being conducted and you begin to observe some irregularities, nothing stops the staff from reporting to the INEC.
Actually hold those who commit violence accountable for it. And the Electoral Act is very clear. The current 2022 Electoral Act in section 93 is very clear on what constitutes electoral violence and punishment. And what we expect is that the law enforcement agents will all come together working with INEC to make sure that those that are involved are punished.
In addition to our work with the police, this ministry has been directed by Governor Hope to do a sensitization tour of all the local government areas in Imo State.
All right. Let's return to Engineer Yabagi Sani, who is a presidential candidate himself of the ADP, Action Democratic Party, as well as chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Committee, IPAC. Well, the second phase of the peace accord signed by the political parties is scheduled for January next year. Nigerians are saying the impact of the first that you signed is yet to be felt, and we're moving in some 2 months from now to sign another. Is this something that we should take seriously, seeing that so far nothing tangible has come out of that accord that you signed? It's all looking like it's just for it's just for the sake of it, and no one is taking it seriously. How do you respond to that?
No, not at all. I think it has its relevance. If anything, we are making reference to it, meaning that it serves a purpose, and it also has its own moral persuasion. And if you look at the personalities behind the peace accord, former head of state General Sulaiman Abubakar, the cleric that is Bishop Kuka, and a lot of personalities like even for the business that is Aliko Dangote. You have the traditional rulers, you have the Sultan of Sokoto, you have other traditional rulers, and gentlemen and women who have given it, and they have given their all to this country. They are respected individuals in their own rights, and they are sampled when we sign this peace accord. So it is like somebody mentioned, for those politicians that have weaponized, those primordial, tendencies like ethnicity, religion, regionalism, and what have you, that are creating, these disturbances that we are seeing, because they are followers, like you say, our followers, and will not be as discernible, as some Nigerians, and that's why they get carried away by the sentiments of, oh, this is our own. And now, fortunately for us, today we have some of the leading politicians who are making a lot of noise, representing the three ethnic groups we have in this country. You have Peter Obi, representing the sentiments of the Southeast, the Igbos. You have Aswaju, representing the sentiments of the Yorubas, and you have Atiku Abubakar representing the sentiments of the North. And they are not showing, they are not hiding it. So this further compounds the problems that we are talking about. But at IPAC, what we have done is that we have put together a committee to work out modalities by which it will not be winner takes all, like one gentleman was saying in your reports, that winner takes all also has its own its own adverse effects in the kind of desperation that petitions come into the contest. But if by our committee, which we have to complement what the National Peace Accord has done, is to say now that it isn't that you must win before you become relevant in the government. We still remember what happened during the Obasanjo administration, that is his first term, when he involved, people from another party, and that sort of introduced, the stability that we witnessed in that government. So, but what is happening currently, perhaps, is a situation that has shown that if you do not win, you will not be of any consequence. You will not be of nobody will remember you. You have to wait another 8 years, before you can, become relevant in the scheme of things. So we are trying to see how we can remove that from the perception or from the thinking of the political parties, and then their candidate, that we will come up with a kind of unity government, hopefully from what we are doing now, so that parties following certain modalities will be reckoned with, that meaning that they will be carried along in the government that will emerge, at the end of the polls. So I think that will further complement and entrench the moral persuasion that I talked about of the peace accord. So to that extent, it's an important piece of document that we had, and is being referred to by most people that are discussing how we should have fair, credible election, devoid of violence and vote buying, which are the cankerworms that does not augur well for the well-being of the citizens or even the country itself. Because, like we know, violence, what does it do? It dissuades people from coming to our crime to invest in the economy. It also makes it possible for incompetent people to become elected, because when there is an environment of arbitrariness or disorder, anything can happen. So, but like I said, what is coming from the lead agency, which is the police, that more than ever before, they are going to ensure that votes count, and they are not going to work for any government. They are not work for Nigeria or for any person. You want to see how that will happen.
Can I ask you this?
And also,
yes, can you truly say that the leaders of the parties are capable of reining in their supporters when it comes to matters like this, violence and sometimes use of intemperate language. Have the leaders of the parties and their main candidates shown the capacity to rein in their supporters when they err?
Yes, because these supporters that you talk about are people that are supporting and that is in the most instances you find that it is people that are not necessarily in the support group that are supporters of the candidates or the parties that sometimes perpetrate these things. But if you have the candidates themselves and the party leaders aligned to their responsibilities and like you say, reining in on these people, I believe that we're able to curb the violence that we have witnessed, and that's why since the last the 52 that we had, we haven't had cases of violence again at the rate it was happening in the beginning. So the leaders are talking to their supporters. The party chairmen are also talking to their the members. So yes, we can, because it's about the candidates really. But there are cases of people that take advantage of this situation to maybe either steal or create a situation where for other reasons they will want to harm other people, not necessarily because of the campaigns, but of the situation. So, but like I said, the candidates themselves, the political party leaders, everybody is now talking to their followers and the members to know that we ourselves, we are not going to condone this, because like I said earlier, if democracy fails, the political class is the first casualty and the biggest loser in the whole scenario. So we wouldn't allow that to continue, and that's why I can assure Nigerians that political parties will conduct themselves responsibly, because the issues at stake are very, very fundamental. I'm talking about the basic needs of Nigerians, which is safety and the needs that is for food, shelter, and things like that. These are basic things that today Nigerians are battling with, and given a good environment where government of the people will emerge, these problems will be a thing of past. Now we'll not be battling with those basic things in Nigeria. So yes, you have people that, like I say, taking advantage, but you also have leaders that have now embarked on measures to mitigate, if you like, eliminate some of these things. So going forward, I think you are going to have the occurrence of all these things. Another thing was destruction of INEC facilities, and which was happening to INEC facilities where some PVCs were burnt. So all these things, in our interaction with the police, we brought it to IGP, and he himself mentioned it, that they're not going to condone all these things anymore. So it gives us the confidence that going forward is going to be something that all of us will be proud of at the end of the day.
Let's return to CSP Adejobi, the first public relations officer. Okay, we're having some challenges to get to the first PRO, I believe. Okay, so we'll work on it and see if we can get him back, because there are so many issues which we would like the police to comment on. For instance, collaborative efforts, a synergy amongst security agencies, seeing that as the campaigns get hotter, there will be many more incidences that can lead to a breakdown of law and order. We've seen people destroying the posters and billboards of opponents, and sometimes there are allegations that those who carry out such activities may not necessarily be opposing parties. Sometimes some people could do that for inordinate gain. So yes, I think CSP Adejobi is back with us now. So how would you respond to that? The collaborative efforts, the synergy among security agencies, as we said, the facing of posters and billboards, these are things that are likely to heighten tension and inflame passions and lead to a breakdown of order.
Yeah, we know that the police, being the lead agency when it comes to election security management, cannot do it alone. And that's why whatever we do will involve other security agencies, including the military. And I want to give it to the present Chief of Defense Staff, General Loki Rabo, who has been playing that leadership role of bringing together all security agencies, as well as the military and the police. I want to say and put it on record that he has been so fantastic. He discusses with the IGP on regular basis, and they brainstorm on how we can have better security in the country, not only for election security management, but general security of the country. So we relate with other security agencies, and for in ISIS, that is Agency Consultative Committee for Election Security. The IGP is co-chairman, INEC chairman is also co-chairman, and all security agencies have been incorporated to ISIS. In fact, recently EFCC has been incorporated to ISIS, and I think SCPC has been incorporated to ISIS because of the issue of vote buying. So these two anti-graft agencies have been.
Oh yeah, I think we lost the signals once again.
Service chiefs.
Yeah.
It was agreed that the police to coordinate a joint operation or joint deployments of security operatives to INEC facilities to protect INEC facilities. So the IGP has taken it up to contact service chiefs to further cascade these to various formations of the military and other security agencies to have their commanders in various states, to work with commissioners of police in various states to have joint operations on protecting INEC facilities across the length and breadth of this country. So we know the police cannot do it alone. Even the operation order we have for 2023 general elections, all security agencies have been incorporated. The military, NSCDC, immigration, road safety, all of them have been incorporated because every polling unit must have a policeman, minimum of a policeman to be assisted by other security agencies. We don't have the men to be deployed to all polling units we have in the country. So we need the support of other security agencies. So the operation order for 2023 general elections are taking care of all this, and the CPs in various commands are to be the chairman of ISIS in their various states, and all security agencies will work with all commissioners of police in their various states. So we are working with other security agencies, and this is going to be very good for all of us to have proper security for 2023 general elections. And aside from that, the monitoring of electoral activities or political activities across the country, the police cannot do it alone. From the commissioners of police down to divisional police officers, all of them have been mandated by the Inspector General of Police to form ISIS in their various areas of responsibility. So we expect even the divisional police officer to form ISIS. All the district officers, divisional officers in various agencies are to work with DPOs, to work with area commanders, work with commissioners of police and AIGs in charge of all our 17 zones across the country. So we're working good with them, and I don't think we have seen any problem. With the system on ground, with the operation order we have involving all security agencies, involving stakeholders. We have a lot to do, and we are ready to discharge our duties as expected of us. Apart from managing the polls, don't forget we have the duty of protecting election observers, to protect even journalists that are going to be on duty. All people that are going to be on essential services are protected by the police. We are to protect any facilities, to protect sensitive and non sensitive materials. So the movement of materials alone is another task for us that we are taking serious. To move materials from one point to another is a great task. And let me quickly draw this that we have formed electoral offensive desk across the state. Assistant commissioners of police in charge of our CIDs, that is Criminal Investigation Department, are the ones that will be electoral offensive desk officers. They are to monitor electoral processes, political activities, and incident cases, collect incidences, investigate, and charge to court appropriately. So we have officers across our formation, across the 37 states, including the federal capital territory. So we have taken note of certain things that can actually give challenge to electoral processes. We are mindful of this with provisions of Electoral Act 2022 and other extant laws in Nigeria. Despite all the rumors, some let me say fake or funded adversaries from various bodies and countries or international bodies, we are good to go. We are going to have elections in all the local government areas in Nigeria, in all the states in Nigeria, and we're optimistic we are going to have free, fair.
Okay. Well, was not pleasing there on that sentence. But back to Yabagi Sani. Yes, we do have him online, do we? Okay, yeah, there he is. Right, let's come back to you. Issue-based campaigns. That's what the refrain has been. But the issues are straightforward. They have to do with the economy, security, to lives and property, and of course, food security. In your earlier comments, you drew attention to a trend, something that's leaning towards an ethnic bias. How can that be taken away?
Well, see, the unfortunate thing is that we are coming from a history that gives a lot of foundation to ethnicity, religion, regionalism as the comfort zone for a large number of Nigerians. And this is because the government formed under democracy failed to deliver, in the journey so far. So that is why one of the tasks, ahead of the grace of God, if I become the next person of this country, is to ensure that the economy performs. Because if the economy performs, nobody will remember that you are maybe an Igbo man or Hausa man or Yoruba man or Mepi man or Sekiri or whatever. So the question here is, how do we ensure that the next government of this country, the next president, will be somebody who has the ability to deliver, somebody of sound mind, somebody that has the track record, somebody that has the intellectual capacity. That's what we need. And until we are able to do that, believe me, issues cannot be handled in the manner that it will address this historical antecedents of our country, men and women. So it is about how Nigerians vote, because that is the power in their hands. Nobody can do it for us. That cares not if those who are making up are not interested in organized Nigeria because they know that this is a sleeping giant in the true sense of it. Because if you look at the resources that God has given to us in terms of natural resources, in terms of human capital, which is the most precious asset, we have young, dynamic, population, on the coast of Africa. So all these things are ingredients that should have transformed this country to become a developed country, not a developing country. So it is up to Nigerians to ensure that those issues that we are talking about, the decency we need, the great leap forward that we require, is achieved to vote the right person, and they are bound. We shouldn't be confused by the noise that we are hearing, which is led by this ethnicity, religion, and what have you. Nigerians have come of age. We have come of age, really. We can rise above those primordial, sentiments that have not delivered and cannot deliver. I mean, a typical example is what is happening to the North, today, and that is the one body. Why is North suffering, from all the things that you would think, if you have your son as your president, that you will never come, smell it or come near it. It is because we need to deliver, governance. And if its governance is not there, I think this cannot be delivered unless you put people who have knowledge of what to do with power in the position, the right positions. So that's what is lacking, So Nigerians must vote wisely. Nigerians must use their PVCs in the manner that the future will steer. That will say bye-bye to all these things, banditry, introducing retrogression in the economic progress and things like that. So it can be business as usual. And thank God, kudos to President Buhari for signing this electoral law 2022, which has introduced the legal framework by which you can guarantee free, fair, and credible election. And thank God we also have the personalities we have in INEC today. The last engagement we had with INEC, they told us that there are a number of their staff who are involved in some sharp practices in the registration that just concluded. So which means this INEC is ready to deliver on the mandate given to them by the Constitution. So these two things that we have in place, you have people that are ready to deliver on the mandate in the interest of this country. You have an electoral law that has provided, those foundation, for credible, reliable, free, all-inclusive election. So, see, definitely the ethnicity thing can be chased out of a Nigerian region, I mean political, region, because once the economy is performing, other countries we are talking about, even China for that matter, Singapore, it's because they've managed to have the leadership that understands the dynamics of power and what to do with power, in order to address those basic needs for the citizens, which is the physiological need, the safety need, ability to have self-esteem, to be who you want to be, and things like that. So, and these are basic things that everybody needs. So, in the government, even in the constitution of our constitution, those two things are what a government can do before you can have claim to be a government. That's what the constitution says. Provide safety, provide welfare to the people, and those things today are meaningless, in the scheme of things. So whoever is going to come to be the next president of this country must be somebody who can deliver on those things. Delivering democracy must be that an average Nigerian is able to experience, good life, to experience all those things that he needs. Like I keep saying, the basic needs at least should be there. Then you will have citizens that are committed to the cause of the nation. Why are we having that? People have lost confidence. They don't think they have a stake anymore. So in the system itself. So we must bring back confidence. We must bring back that commitment by each citizen of this country. So these are the issues why ethnicity has been weaponized, like somebody said earlier. Religion has been weaponized. The issue of religion has been weaponized, and it's introducing all the distractions that you wouldn't want, in these 2023 elections.
All right. Thank you very much. At this point, we'll take a short break. When we return, we'll have some other reports, and the conversation will continue on how to have credible polls, violence-free polls in 2023. Stay with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We'll be back shortly.
The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportation. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause. NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show. The 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportation. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause. NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show. 157-kilometer Lagos-Ibadan Railway is the first double-track standard gauge railway to be built in West Africa. The Mobolaji Johnson train station is a masterpiece, an infrastructure that is gradually becoming an iconic building in Lagos State. The modern facilities put the station on a world map of train stations. Likewise, other new train stations across the country built to world-class standards. The train and its convenience is indeed an admirable effort, with commendations from Nigerians.
This is a station that we have to commend the federal government for putting a beautiful face, empowering us in Lagos State, not only in economic and political arena.
I can say that I'm really impressed with the infrastructures in place. Kudos to the Minister of Transportation. Kudos to the federal government.
Truly, good things are coming out of Nigeria, and the federal government is deserving of all the applause. NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
Thanks for staying with us, ensuring violence-free polls. That's what our focus is tonight. We have this next report from Port Harcourt by Ijoma Ogweke.
Political violence has received increasing attention in recent times due to its devastating effects in parts of the country during elections. Efforts are being made by local and international actors, including electoral assistance, peacekeeping and monitoring missions, civic and voter education, to stem the tide of political violence. However, understanding of the consequence of specific actions remains limited in Rivers State among political gladiators and supporters. At this point in the polity, the state government has mapped out modalities and guidelines for political parties to ensure peace and order during campaigns.
All the political parties were made to sign a peace accord before the commencement of the campaign. But unfortunately, in recent times, there have been an upsurge in political violence. And I think it's something that does not augur well for our democracy.
Some citizens are of the view that adequate measures should be put in place to check those heating up the polity, as incidents of violence and intimidation are creeping in from different quarters to thwart the process.
Democracy is not an event. It is a process. It is a way of living. It's an acceptance of the basic human freedoms and rights. And one of those freedoms and rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is the freedom to associate and to move around this country freely.
We are starting early enough to sensitize the youth, to commit that we say no to electoral violence, and we added that part of insecurity, because insecurity distorts the democratic process totally.
If the youth cannot protect themselves and they go about killing themselves or allowing themselves to risk to be killed, they cannot be available tomorrow to contest the election.
Every youth have a pastor. So if the pastors can start talking to their youth now, it will help us in 2023.
As the country approaches another election, it then behoves on government to address the problem of political violence to avert the long-lasting consequences for social cohesion and the legitimacy of democracy.
Alright, this is at this segment that you can also join in the conversation. The numbers will be on the screen. You can take advantage of those, and we remind you every Tuesday that if you're calling in, do us a favor when your call gets through. If your call gets through to the studio, turn down the volume of your TV set to avoid the hurlback or the echo. And we also like to encourage you to go straight to the point and not bother about the greetings. A simple hello would do. So, lines are open and you can join in the conversation. So let's return to Engineer Yabagi Sani, IPAC chairman. There's this matter of vote buying. And just as the security agencies and the election management body has decided that it would up its game in trying to nip all these in the bud, the people who want to sabotage the system are devising new methods to beat the rap. So, with the parties and the leadership, how are you working on the people to ensure that the question of vote buying belongs to the past?
Well, it's a big challenge, because here we have an environment that is so you have poverty so endemic, talking about abject poverty, so endemic. And in some cases you have illiteracy also, also very high among the people. So issue of vote buying is politicians, taking advantage of these two, unfortunate predicament that we're in. So it rests with the security agencies that will do their jobs, because we have enough of them. We have ICPC, we have EFCC, we have even the police themselves. There's no way they cannot trace the movement of money. Thank God Mr. President has introduced or approved the move by the CBN to redesign, some of the currencies that we have, which I think is a welcome development, because in a situation where you have almost 80% of your money in circulation, outside the banking system, portends, a danger, to any system that government wants to introduce. Not to talk of democracy, where the states, elections where the states are very high, like elections in this country, or even politics in this country, is like it's like an investment. Now people invest heavily because they know that once they get to power, they can, the first few months, they recoup, double what or 10 times what they have invested. Why? Because the security agencies are not doing their jobs. So they can, before the election, they can do their jobs after the elections and nip this cankerworm in the bud. So politicians or the candidates cannot. I'm talking about the chairman of the political parties now, or the candidates. Unfortunately, the environment and the security agencies that are supposed to enforce these laws themselves, in most cases, they are complicit. Not only being complicit, but also used as accessories to commit those crimes. But like I said, engagement with the IGP, what other agencies are saying, because that engagement will show all the agencies of government, assembled, under the leadership of the IGP, meaning that there's synergy, meaning that all of them will come on board and ensure that this election is like no other one in terms of fighting, vote buying, violence and intimidation, by incumbency. That's those who are in power using paraphernalia of the office to now, intimidate opposition, parties. That has to also check. So the question you ask is that, yes, we have gotten these pronouncements, but we are waiting to see the action, really, to convince us that yes, what the IGP has told us and the other agencies have said, that they're going to walk the talk, because unfortunately the system of appointing those officers, the service chiefs, the security agencies, the electoral body itself, the police itself, are by Mr. President. Well, fortunately, Mr. President himself is not in this election, but his party is there. So though he has told the whole world and everybody that he is going to be above board, that meaning that whoever wins is going to give that person the reins of power. So otherwise, they say who pays the piper dictates the tone. And it's so real in our situation. So one of the reforms that we must embark upon is how do you bring about a situation where those so-called independent agencies of government are truly independent. They are not their budget or their appointment is not at the beck and call of whoever is in power, that time. Maybe that's why you have draconian laws being introduced by even state governors. That somebody who came to power by virtue of a free, fair, election and the freedom to campaign, he campaigned. Now he's in power and he doesn't want anybody to even enjoy the same freedom that he enjoyed. That you can't protest posters, you can't put up your billboards or things like that. So I think engagement with IGP, what Mr. President is saying, the electoral law, the resolve by INEC to ensure that they deliver on the mandate of free, fair, credible, all-inclusive election, I think is something that is giving some of us, the confidence to know that at the end of the day, this election is going to be successful.
Alright, I wonder if we have the first PRO back online. We seem to be having some issues with his connection there. We'd like to try to see if we can get him online, because what we want to draw attention to now is a few of the issues that Engineer Rabagi Sani raised. Beyond that, We have also seen the police deploy its resources in what has come to be known as off-cycle elections, dealing with a state or two that were running elections out of the normal 4-year cycle that we have had so far. But next year, 2023, will be a different kettle of fish, seeing that it will be the general elections. And the question would be, can we see the kind of deployment that we've seen? Would they stretch out and guarantee that the kind of policing that we've seen in those elections, we'll see them in the general elections? But it would seem that we can't get back to the first PRO, and we'll see if we can still reconnect. We have a caller on the line, Gideon from Adama. Go right ahead. Gideon from Adama, if you can hear me, you're on.
Am I on? Gideon from Adama, please. I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me, please?
Go right ahead, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just like I rightly said, on this issue of election, frankly speaking, hello?
Yes, go on. Do we still have him on the line? Okay, I think that we lost that call, but Gideon, if you can hear me, you can try dialing again. We might just have the service better the next time we call in. But for others who are trying to get on the conversation too, the lines are open. Let's return to Nigeria, Yoba Gisani. And in all of this, the electoral umpire, INEC, what's your assessment of how far it has gone and is going in carrying out this mandate? Okay, I understand Gideon is back. Right, Gideon, you're back on the line. Go right ahead. Gideon, can you hear me?
All right, thank you.
Right. Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, Comrade Gideon Pogwadi from Adama State is my name.
Okay, go on.
Just to add to what you're saying, Gideon Pogwadi, please.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Okay, go right ahead. Yeah, just like I said, okay, go on. Just to add to what you're saying,
Yeah, I'm afraid we've lost that again. It's pretty challenging tonight. But back to you, Engineer Yoba Gisani. Yes, your assessment of the electoral umpire so far and how far-reaching the measures it's taken to ensure a level playing field and to deliver its mandate just the way that every Nigerian would want it to be.
Well, I believe we have in Professor Mahmoud Yakubu somebody that has a date with history, and he's very much aware of that because my interaction with him as I make as IPAC chairman shows that this is somebody that's fiercely committed to delivering on the mandate of free, fair, and credible elections. And you can see from innovations that brought him. We can now transmit results directly from the polling units to the approacher, to get to the approacher, and which means you have any cause if something goes wrong, in the elections. So the digitalization of the process shows that there will be accountability, transparency, and above all, giving people the chance for their votes to count, and that is very, very fundamental and very important to us. And like I said, INEC is also resolved to punish their own, because he told us that they have identified a number of their officers during the registration who were compromised, and they're dealing with them. They're not leaving any stone unturned to ensure that as far as INEC is concerned, they deliver on the mandate. could also observe that INEC is actively, involved in giving Nigerians, information on every aspect of their assignment. Yes, like we all know, this is a new law which we are trying to implement, and definitely there will be some issues, teething problems that you have with situations like this. So I think Nigerians can be rest assured that this INEC, and again, if you look at it, this is the last outing for Mahmoud Yakubu. That's not, he's not going to come back again as an INEC champ. So he has the legacy, he has the sense of history that he should leave a legacy that not only himself but even anybody associated with him will be proud of.
Okay.
So these are the things that...
Let's get back to the phones. We have Raphael who's calling in from Sokoto, I believe. Raphael, go right ahead.
Okay.
Raphael.
Yes, I can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, please, I live here in Sokoto, and there's one thing I don't understand.
Go on.
So I live here in Sokoto, and that's one thing I don't understand, because I've been seeing a lot of people talking about they don't want anything, that they don't need anything, they only need the money. So I don't know if there's anything the government can do about this, because what is after the mind of Northerners are just money. So then the money they will vote for you, so you go and do the rest. So I don't know if there's anything you can say about it.
Well, Raphael, you do know, of course, that good buying is an offense. And just a short while ago, we had put the question to Engineer Yabagi Sani, the IPAC chairman, on this matter. So I'm sure he would like to comment further on that. Now, if some people say all they're interested in is just the money, it would seem that those people are not ready to move this nation forward. And it would also suggest that there is a lot of work to be done to put a stop to this offense, and of course a lot of sensitization.
Yeah, like you rightly said, the electoral law we have now has a lot of provisions as to how to deal with money in politics. But it will put you behind bars. That means you put both the giver and the receiver. You are all guilty of the same offense, and I think nobody wants to go to prison, for how much, I don't know. And apart from that, we also have your future. You ask yourself, what has happened all along? Taking this 5,000, 10,000 or something even less than that, when you give your votes, to somebody who you don't even know, who you know from the beginning that this person cannot even perform. He doesn't have what it takes. And that's where we are today. And I want to believe that Nigerians are beginning to wake up, to the realities of the fact that to sell it's like selling your birthright, really, to somebody who cannot guarantee you anything. And elections are the most important thing to every country, and because that is how you get leadership. And if you can't get the proper leadership, what happens is that you put yourself in a precarious situation where even your basic needs cannot be guaranteed. You can't eat like what is happening today. You will have cases of people being killed unnecessarily because the government you have cannot deliver. And the government is not the buildings; it's about the human beings. So if you do not elect the right caliber of people that will work for you, what you have is a total failure. A total failure results into more poverty, more killings, more banditry. All the sorrows and wars and everything that we are battling with today will just become more compounded. And then so who wants to live the kind of life we are living in Nigeria today? No. And Nigeria is a promise of greatness, like you know yourself. We are number 6 in terms of countries that produce and export crude oil in this country, in the world, the whole world. In fact, we are like number 4 or 3 when you talk about gas. So, and today, the global narrative is about climate change, it's about energy transition, it's about information technology. Nigeria has the biggest population of young, dynamic, intelligent men that are keen into the information technology and are attracting billions of dollars investment to this country. When we talk about energy transition, we are the country that is among the first layer of countries that will benefit from energy transition. The whole world is moving away from fossil fuel. So we have gas, which means Europe and all these things are looking for this gas. This country has it. What we don't have is leadership. So please don't waste your vote, because Nigeria is ready, to become the biggest thing happening in the whole world, not only on the question of
all right.
Like I said,
thank you so much.
Climate change, energy transition, information technology is it, and we are big in this area. What we don't have is what we are about to do in 2023. Give this country the right leadership so that all these things will be able to benefit from it. Okay,
IPAC chairman, right? I understand Gideon has called back. Gideon is back again. Okay, hello, Gideon. Are you back on the line?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah. In respect of these election issues, frankly speaking, yes. It's not Gideon. The name is Pogba Gideon.
Oh.
Yeah, what I'm saying
is, sorry.
We really have confidence seriously on this very electoral system, especially with Professor Mahmoud as the boss. Because from all the things he's saying, because as you can see, the election is no longer, the election is not what we need to know. Whereby vote buying and others, if you can see the way the youths are mobilizing and moving out, it is very, very obvious that the system, the narratives are going to be changed. And the elections are going to be interesting this time around in 2023. It's going to be quite different from others. Because if you look at the way they promote other candidates that don't even have the money, you see the movement. What I'm saying is that Professor Mahmoud should do everything within his power to ensure that he keeps his promises. That whoever emerges as the president of this country, he should make sure that power is transferred to that person. That is precisely what I'm saying, because the election for 2003, the narrative have changed. I will stick to that. If they don't, I'm sorry, I don't know where we are heading to. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, comrade. Sorry about the mix-up with your name there. Sometimes the line's not very clear. Okay, so perhaps we'll just stick to the comrade that came out clearly enough. Thanks, comrade. Right, let's return to our guest who's still with us, the chairman IPAC, and you heard the man, and he's been trying to get that out. Had to call in about 2 or 3 times to to get it out off his chest. That's the way many Nigerians feel about what's going to happen in 2023 as we move ahead. So does it bother you, as one of those seeking the highest office in the land and as chairman of IPAC, does it bother you that INEC's offices have been subjected to what we have just said? I mean, we thought this was all over. This was in the past, but the recent one calls for concern. So does it bother you, going by what the last comrade who called in said?
Well, it bothers me, and it bothers all the signing politicians in this country. Believe me. Why? Because after the primaries, believe me, we thought that these agencies, especially those that are supposed to fight corruption, will rise to the occasion, but they failed to. And these are the ingredients of violence and people losing confidence in the system itself. Because money was used, everybody knows that, and then nothing happened. Nobody has been arrested, to my knowledge, and that, again, the interaction with the IGP sort of gives us some confidence that something will be, it will not be business as usual. What we saw during the primaries, how the whole thing was done in a corrupt, laden, environment, and the agencies of the government said they didn't see anything, that no, they said they will see now and they will act. So, which means, for going forward, we have reasons to believe that things will be done differently. And coming from Mr. President himself, at every point in time, he will tell you that he's ready to deliver. This is his last outing, and this is the legacy he's going to leave behind. And it's a legacy of free, fair, credible elections. And we believe Mr. President. Unfortunately, we know that he's surrounded by people that perhaps share in his passion. But this is one thing that he can do for himself, for this country, and he has promised that he's going to do it. So that is why, yes, we are worried, but the assurances coming at the highest level of governance and coming from the lead agencies, that are supposed to ensure that this election succeeds, is assuring, and that's why the worries we had before is perhaps being attenuated, is reducing, and we believe that going forward, Nigeria is going to win, because if the right person wins, if the vote counts, it is Nigeria that wins, and we want Nigeria to win so that Nigeria can deliver, the democracy to the citizens of this country. If that doesn't happen, then like somebody says, it's like an accident waiting to happen. The tipping page, we are already at tipping point, as far as this country is concerned. Because look at the restiveness, look at the sadness in the land and things like that. So I believe this election matters. This election must be successful, and everybody is aware of this.
Okay, and indeed we have another caller on the line, Tony, calling from Otupo. Tony, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, presenter.
Right.
My name is Tony from Otupo State. I just want to an issue that bothered me in this coming election. It's about the governors. They use force for us to vote to who we don't want to. I don't know what the INEC is going to do about that. That they force you to vote. They use force or you to vote to know your candidate. What is the INEC going to do about that? You have your choice to vote, and the government in your state, they'll use authority force you to vote to other candidates, which is not right. And we are fighting the corruption. I think that is still corruption.
All right, Tony, explain this further to me if you can. You say you've been forced to vote, and I don't understand how that happens. Are you saying governors are intimidating prospective voters? Because when you say forced to vote, I mean, if you go in there, it's just you, your ballot paper, and your thumbprint. Except what you're saying is that you're being bullied, intimidated, and threatened. Is that exactly what you're saying? All right, we lost that. Well, that's another one, being forced to, which we might want to examine, because if you have an election and a voter goes into the booth, he has his ballot paper and it's just him in there, anything short of forcing his thumb to thumbprint a particular party, except of course there are threats of either violence or intimidation or maybe losing certain things to make sure that they vote for another candidate. But we have another caller on the line, Peter, who's calling from Wari. Peter, go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this such program, and you get to educate Nigerians on what to do and not to do. First of all, I want to ask a question, like the former caller did. Maybe he explained very well. This political progress, we come to a state, for example, in Wari now. Some billboards of some political parties are being destroyed. Instruction given from either the local government chairman or from the state governor, but they don't want to see any other billboard apart from the party of the state. Now, like the former caller called, you don't be a nation, you will see this service of the ruling party of the state. It's immediately harassing people, giving money
for you to vote for their candidate. If you don't do that, there will be a problem. Fine. There's policemen in the polling units. You don't understand that. How many policemen can be there to monitor this or to arrange these situations? Now, let me give you an example. There's a state in Nigeria, let me mention, that we went to vote around this area I just called and calling from. You see the political story of the leading party of the state intimidating and harassing people. Whether you want to vote for this party of our choice or you don't vote. How are you going to arrange that? Secondly, this three class have made Nigerians so poor that even anything can go. For instance, if you give a man that is hungry, that has not seen food for 1 week, if you give him 1,000 naira, he's ready to do what's that of his mind. Now you're telling us now that vote buying is against the law. Who arrange the issue? Is it the 3 policemen that are in that 3 units that are going to arrest the situation or what? Whereby you know that the state governors are so powerful when it comes to election and when it comes to deliver their state to their ruling party. Now, you are telling me that I should go and vote for a candidate of my choice. I agree with that. Now, a year rider who haven't seen 1 naira or 5,000 to buy fuel in his keke, he's giving 5,000 naira. At collection and giving, who will be there to arrest the giver and the taker? Having only 3 policemen in each unit arrest my case. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Peter. You've raised so many issues, and well, some of them, of course, we would have asked the first PRO to respond to them. Unfortunately, we have not been able to re-establish those links with him since we lost the line with him. But again, on the premise of the conduct of politicians and leaders, and well, you say the governors are politicians. They belong to political parties, either those who are in office or those who are aspiring to get into office would be able to comment on the conduct of these political bigwigs. And so let's turn to our guest who's still here, Engineer Rabbi Gisan, Chairman IPAC. Listen to Peter and all the points he raised.
Yeah, see, like we know, governors are like emperors because they are even more powerful than the president of the country. The reasons are that the president of the country perhaps gets challenges, from the system, but a governor in the state, nobody challenges him. Not the traditional rulers, not everybody is under him, so he does whatever he likes. That's why the previous speaker was saying that he was forced to vote for somebody other than the person he would have wanted to vote for. Perhaps it's referring to the primaries that took place where you have delegates. These delegates are literally handpicked by the governors, and they tell them what, and they give them money. They may not even know the candidate they're even voting for. So this is the situation you have when even the state house of assemblies, the judiciary, everything is under one emperor, we call governors. So the system has to change so that people will now behave, in accordance to the anticipation of the drafters of the Constitution. But what we have today, believe me, is a situation where democracy is under threat. Particularly by governments, because they decide. Even Mr. President, like I told you, that's the tool of the governors, unfortunately. But it's because you have, somebody like President Buhari, who believes in the rule of law, that separation of powers and things like that. But what do we have? We have a situation where the democracy has been hijacked, by these people. That's why nobody's lamenting that, will be pauperized, yes, because unfortunately the system we have is that of the economy, of this country is public sector driven, everything depends on the government. Everything, you know, if you're a businessman, you are not doing business with the governor or with the federal, you know, you are not really relevant. So until we change this, you know, to a situation where the people are not, you know, pauperized, you know, like somebody mentioned, the way they are, we've been cowed. You know, you look at judiciary, it has been cowed. You look at the National Assembly, I'm talking about legislative arm, it has been cowed by the executive from the state to the national. That is not the intention of the drafters of this the constitution. Okay. So until we change the fundamentals, there's no way we can have democracy the way we want to have it. But thank God, they have seen the futility and the negative tendencies of what, you know, we've been doing. So everybody now wants to perhaps do the right thing.
Okay, so let's get this other call through. Bola calling in from Lagos. Hello, Bola.
Hello, good evening.
Go ahead.
It's a peacekeeper. Long time no see.
Sorry? Hello?
I'm hearing you, sir.
Yes, go right ahead.
I just want to make an observation. About, you are talking about food buying and all that, and I'm not after that one. What I'm going to try on that is that there are people that they give you the voters, they give you the the card to go and vote your campaign. There are normally some people gather around to look where I want to put your campaign. So I want them, the way they do the Abuja something, I want them to extend this thing. Nobody to follow them and look where you want to put something in their hand. I want them to extend this thing. The way they do in Abuja when they're doing the campaign. That is my own observation.
Okay.
That's my own thoughts.
All right. Thank you very much, Bola. But Chairman IPAC, it would seem that there still is a long way to go in terms of public enlightenment about the whole process. And of course, there's still a lot to be said about the political class which you belong to, and the conduct of the political parties and their candidates, and of course the provisions of the law. So INEC on its part is going out with the sensitization, but we always ask this: how well have the parties done in bringing these issues to the front burner, speaking with their hundreds of thousands or even millions of supporters and sympathizers, if we might use that term, those who believe in their cause?
Well, you know, I think what you must understand is this: political parties are funded by the governance and the money bags, and these are the people that are the issues that we are trying to, deal with. The members of the political parties some of them do not even pay their dues. I mean, I'm talking about the membership fees and things like that. In most cases, in fact, some of them have to give them money even to come and attend meetings. So the situation we have, believe me, is a situation that we need to grow this economy as fast as we can, so that people will become independent to a very large extent. That is where we are today. People are so polarized. They can't exercise their franchise independently, and the campaign, sensitization or electoral education. Voter education.
Let me ask you to pause a while here. Let me ask you to pause a while here. There's a Joel who's calling in from Gombe. This probably is our last caller tonight. Let's just hear what Joel has to say, and you can tie that in with your closing comments. Joel, go ahead.
Thank you, Uncle Phil. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, one of the problems I think I observed with the campaign, we are talking about free and fair election. We are talking about the issue of security during this election. But I don't know if you have seen it in Abuja, but down here in Gombe, precisely
in Cham, where I'm calling you from, Cham village, in Balanga local government. You see all these leaders going around in their campaign with non-state actors carrying weapons. In the name of, like in India, you see Kalari going with serving governors, serving House of Reps members, going around with non-state actors carrying weapons. So I'm still afraid if this forthcoming election is going to be peaceful. That's one of the things I observe. If there is any way INEC will come to tackle that, and also programs like this, if we can talk to Nigerians, please, let's come against all of this so that this, I like to become Uncle Cyril.
Well, thank you very much, Joel. But yeah, I will.
Yeah, I think that's the company. A very philosophical way. Well, really, like everybody has said, we have a long way to go, but good thing we've started. Good thing we have a chance. 2023. But the stumbling blocks are so much, and it's not that we cannot, overcome them. We can. As a result, citizens who have seen the futility of going on like this, because you can't be doing the same thing the same way and they expect different results. Everybody wants to live a good life, that's for sure. And unfortunately, the only way you can do it under a democratic government is to elect people that can deliver, on the mandate, can be able to address those basic things for you, can be able to think out of the box. Nigeria, like we all know, is a promise of greatness. We have everything you require in a country. We have it in this country. So, we have resources, we have human capital, we have the size of the land, we are respected. All that is standing between us and that greatness is leadership. Now, Nigerians, you have the opportunity to elect a good leader, a leader that can meet your minimum requirement, this minimum, which is at least giving you security, giving you good life, giving you welfare. And this is the chance. Don't waste it on 5,000, 10,000, or somebody telling you things that you believe, is not true. Don't waste it on the altar of ethnicity or religion or regionalism. That cannot, it has never, and it will never. Let us rise above those primordial sentiments. Let's vote wisely, in this election. People are there. It's not only about PDP or APC. Nigeria does not start and stop with the APC, PDP, and other. 18 of us are there. So please look beyond what you are having today. Let's take a different path, for progress, for unity, for stability, for Nigeria to be who we are supposed to be. We're a giant, in terms of all things you want to see, economically, socially, politically. Nigeria is big. We play big in all arenas. Our sons and daughters are there pulling their weight. You have somebody in UN, Adina Mohammed, you have Popularina in the World Trade Organization, you have me in African Development Bank, and you have so many of Nigerians who are really making us, what we're supposed to be. Look at governments in Europe, in America, in Canada. Nigerians are occupying, key positions, and they're delivering. So let's make this environment also conducive. Let's make it an environment that will enable, Nigerians to really perform at their best, because we have the best.
All right.
In the world.
Okay. All right, and it is on that note we'd like to thank you very much, Engineer Yaba Sani, Chairman Interparty Advisory Committee IPAC, and presidential candidate of ADP, that's the Action Democratic Party. Thank you for being with us on NTA Tuesday Live. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. And also our thanks to CSP Olubiwa Adejobi, the first public relations officer who joined us via Zoom from Uyo. Unfortunately, we lost the links with him before the latter part of this program. But again, thank you for being part of the discussion initially. And apologies once again for the rather erratic signals via Zoom with our guest there, the first public relations officer. Well, that's it. That's our program today. We thank you for watching. Next week we'll be back with NTA Tuesday Live. I'm Cyril Stover. Continue to stay safe.
It's time to rise up, do it again. Africa, do your dance now. Follow your winning dance now. So we never lose it We can rise up, yes, we can rise up, Africa rise up. Africa rise up, yes, we can rise up, Africa rise up.
Media, in association with Kabbalah Entertainment, presents The Candidate, a presidential town hall media series where the presidential candidates of the 6 leading political parties tell us about their plans for the country. Join Kabbalah Entertainment as she leads us into the world of these candidates from the 17th to the 23rd of November 2022. This very important program will be streamed on FRCN, Radio Now, DSTV, NTA, Facebook, YouTube, and more. This is a town hall meeting you shouldn't miss. Tune in. Let's hear from the candidates.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on visiontv.co.uk and click on the link, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International. Your window through the hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on the link, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International. Your window through the world.
Hello, beautiful people. It's a great day to be alive and thankful for so much. Welcome on board your number one events program coming to you on the network service of the NTA. I am Miriam Ayanna, and this is Socialog, your sure way to socialize. Sit back, relax, and let's take you all around the world of events in Nigeria. To our first story of the day. When a journey begins, it is expected that it will end. Our prayer is that it ends well. Now, for the director, multi-channel Yoen Kwange, and the assistant director news, Aisha Bello, it was worth the celebration as they both retired from active, dedicated service at the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's see this.
If you notice, I am economical with information on today's package. It is deliberate. I want you to come with me.
A beautiful script there introducing one of your favorite news programs on NTA.
The taste of the pudding is in the eating.
From behind the scenes, this magical and poetic thoughts are all that is visible to the world, while he works tirelessly behind the scenes. Not just that, but was also a reporter who has traveled wide and far, keeping his audience glued with his poetic words, intimidating height, and handsome looks. That's the boss. Yohen Kwanye.
It is now official. The pump price of petrol has jumped to 100.
She was one of the faces of NTA. Her voice distinct and compelling, catching her audience awestruck. A pleasant blend with a beautiful face to go with.
Aisha Bello Mustafa.
After attaining the age of 60, time to bow out of service.
I would describe them as staff that are very, very hardworking, people who believe in teamwork, and are able to also carry their subordinates, they mentor them, and they have impacted so much to the authority. We really, really appreciate them, and we are going to miss them a lot.
Both of them have paid their dues to NTA. They have served NTA well, and NTA is proud of what they have done, and Nigeria should be proud of them too.
Just the NTA family, the event was made memorable with the Director General and all executive directors in attendance.
On behalf of the Special Executive Directorate, I warmly welcome you all to this thank for our colleagues dedicated, very well staffed to the organization. When you come into a place like NTA, you should let your passion take over. Don't think about remuneration here, especially when you are passionate about the job. That is who your head is.
You are one person that is so different from the others. As a travel giver, aside from doing your job, you know how to make people happy.
In terms of professionalism, I think I know very well he is a core professional. Aisha Bello is a quiet, humble producer.
For the celebrants, Yohen Kwanye and Aisha Bello, represented by her daughter, the memories made in NTA are for a lifetime.
NTA has been home to my mother for a very long time, and no doubt she will miss this family.
Friends from outer space, afraid to let those in the tomb understood this play. And as far as we know, we were waiting for time.
Even before News Extra, we were the only two production editors on network news for a very long period of time. We understood the importance of doing things well and doing things at the right time. I think that's what is behind the success of News Extra.
He's a friendly man, very simple, down to earth.
Yohen and I have been in the trenches for a very long time, and I'm very happy today that, to the glory of God, he is stepping aside, just as I did some few months ago. I welcome him to the long coffee break.
Working for NTA, to me, has been the most profound, wonderful experience in my life. And this is the only job I have known and loved. I think this is the best job in the world. I have worked in NTA Makudi, I worked in NTA Lagos, Abuja, Jos, Kefi, and back to Abuja. And in all these places, I think it was God who was guiding my steps. I retired at 60, but I have put in 33 years in NTA.
I'm just happy that he has retired well, strong, healthy. All glory to God. I'm happy I'm going to have him around more often now.
Accolades, best wishes and prayers accompanied the retirees out of NTA premises.
Here is wishing both of them the very best on this amazing journey. Now, there are various milestones in life. Some of them are impactful and defining. For me, probably the most important of it all is the celebration of life. A testament to the fact that being alive is one of the greatest gifts God has ever bestowed upon man. Marking our birthday is Chetachi Ekton. One of the tabloids once wrote that Nigeria has found her queen, and her name is Dr. Chetachi Ekton. This is as a result of her commitment to make better disadvantaged communities within and outside Nigeria. It is not therefore surprising many turned up for her birthday celebration. Family, friends, associates, and traditional rulers made the event memorable at the Blake's Resort, Abuja. Coincidentally, the event also doubled as the inauguration of the Every Life Matters Humanitarian Foundation.
It is something like an air from you, an original home, a victorious being, and let me have that E, and that's love. Happy birthday to to continue for many more years, and that he will live to do even better than what he has already done.
It was a very interesting evening that sought not only to celebrate an icon with a big heart, selfless, kind, and loving woman, but to also encourage and show support towards what she is passionate about, and that is to help and lift up the needy in our own little way.
Today is the birthday of a woman who has touched so many lives, of a woman who has changed, who has given hope to the hopeless. So I wish her a hearty big cheers. She has impacted a lot of lives, and she's done so much in such a short time, and really we came here to celebrate her.
She's like from a different planet. She's everything good, put in one basket. Yes, because she's somebody that has this never die spirit. She never gives up, and she gives without expecting anything in return.
With music in the background, entertainment at the side, lots to eat and drink, the ambience at the venue was truly lit. Interestingly, one of the highlights of the evening was the array of cakes that decorated the hall. We could see that from a mile off. It was truly spectacular. This High Chief has been going over and beyond the call of duty to make a positive difference in the world around her with her When in Need Foundation. So far, she has helped change the lives of over 550,000 people by donating funds for education, agriculture, and healthcare in different communities in Nigeria.
I wish her a life full of happiness, full of joy, full of just abundance, full of good people around her, full of faith, and just full of more blessings.
A lot of joy when I give to others, especially to those in need, because I have been in need myself. and my children have been in need themselves. So I know what it is to be poor. I know what it is to be hungry. I know what it is not to have.
From an excellent track record to what has been and what is being said, one could understand clearly that the celebrant is indeed a woman with a heart of grace. Here is wishing her the very best on this amazing journey. To our first story of the day, I must tell you that Nigerians are gaining grounds massively in the world of filmmaking and movie production, and it is a beautiful sight to see. Let's take you all around the world of events with the movie premiere of the film titled Maya.
Congratulations. Well done.
In the midst of it all, there is something beautiful, rewarding and priceless about watching the efforts of your hands thrive and come to reality. From the studios of 6-7 Media comes the premiere of the film titled Maya.
It's pretty obvious that I've got feelings for you. And I haven't felt this connection so quickly with anyone before. I guess I just want to know if you feel the same way about us.
I think it's going to be very impactful because it has a strong message, and it's not really like screaming religion in your face. I mean, there's a hint of it there, but it's not like in your face, and it's basically any message that any person, any human being can follow, you know. Have power over your mind, control your mind. Your mind is your most powerful tool, and I think it cuts across humanity basically. So there's a very strong message attached to it.
Sometimes we need to change our mindset from the previous thing we know about life, which is the wrong ideology and everything.
Maya is a faith-based romantic comedy written by Michael Garuba and produced by Ben Piva. It tells the story of the inner struggles of a young woman on a journey to undo a curse placed on her years back while trying to balance a successful career and relationship. What makes the film interesting are the props used and the comic twists infused in it to drive home salient points.
What's it, this one?
If I won, I must say, if you take this one, lie to lie, absolutely nothing can come between you and the one you love.
Yeah, so it is a beautiful film because from the aesthetics, which is something I'm very particular about, they nailed it. I mean, if you look at the pictures were solid. Why? Because the designs were working, production design was working, the sets were working, and you could see the details because she's a florist. Everything about her environment said she's a florist, you know, and so they made sure that they kept to that. The sound was fantastic, the score was beautiful, the performance was excellent, so as far as I'm concerned, because everybody understood the brief and they brought their A game. So I'm really, really happy that, you know, this has happened.
The event, which was held at the Olusun Art Gallery, had a beautiful ambience. The movie had everyone on the edge of their seats as they followed the intriguing and indeed exciting plot and the subplots. A well-told story with a formidable cast comprising of Mofe Duncan, Ego Inwosu, Ekemini Essien, Lara Wai, Collins Shedibil Chukwu, Fritz Bassi, and a host of others. The essence of the film hits home explicitly.
You will have to drink it before engaging in any physical activity with your intended lover. Drink.
It was a passion project. It's something I've always wanted to do, tell this type of story, this type of faith-based stories. And so for me, yeah, there were a lot of challenges here and there, but because of the joy and the satisfaction I was getting from doing the film, it was beautiful for me. It was exciting for me to the project.
I think it's definitely going to be impactful because there's a lot of grace. There's a lot of grace to this, and it comes from a place of heart and of love. especially the characters. Everybody that watches it can relate somehow to one degree to every single character in there, and it's family friendly. It's got something for everybody.
With appreciations and encomiums flow, it is obvious that the film will impact and change some conceptual narratives in the society.
15 years. I know what I've been through. I just have to find her. She has to see reasons.
Maya.
Powerful storylines and beautiful cast. A must watch when the film finally comes out. To our final story of the day, there are some contents that you can never get tired of. You can actually watch them over and over and over again. This you will experience at the various activities that characterized the first coronation of the Olu of Warri. So, it's off to Warri we go.
The coronation anniversary of Olu of Warri may have come and gone, but its memory lingers. Aside the rich cultural display by the people, the youth of the Warri Kingdom also put together a paintball game to showcase their military prowess.
We are trying to, as much as possible, get rid of conventional approach to issues. Hence, the king in his own wisdom introduced the paintball game. The paintball game is not a new game to a whole lot of people, but within this locality, it can be classified as something
Remember,
new.
no playing shot, no close range shot. Come on, guys.
So the concept of this game, we have 4 teams, 6 on each side. So we'll have the first 2 go. They will battle for the flags that are going to be in their own base. So what you do is to struggle to get the flag. And getting the flag is not enough. You have to take the flag back to your own base. And once that is done, you will be declared a winner.
Paintball is very interesting game if you understand it. I know how to play it and I train my boys very well. We are sharing international players. We won the first first half and we came out to play the final. And for the final it was a walkover. That is to tell you we know the game. Thanks to Almighty God.
A royal musical concert dominated the evening.
War is a man of war. War is a man of war. War is a man of war. The Lord is a man of war.
The colorful event saw several exciting and indeed engaging performances, spoken, chorals, classical gospel songs by individuals and the newly inaugurated Iwara Royal Choir.
Once we start to space, we know we lost every wish is granted.
The
themselves Omiwere, which means the offspring of Iwere. They call themselves Ishekiri. They call their language Ishekiri. They know themselves as encircled in blessings. They know themselves as enclosed in prayers. And prayers to God and blessings from God have kept them and defining their experiences. We are the people of Wari, which is what our land is called, derived from the ancestral name, which at first was Iwere. Worry, they say, worries no one. Who does not worry? Whoever, however, worry, will surely get the worries of worry.
It was indeed a night to behold.
Very impressive. I could watch that all day. Why? Because I'm a culture freak. And that's how much we have for you on the program today. Join us again, same time next week. And thanks for staying with us. We couldn't have done all of this without you. Remember, keep your head up, don't give up, and keep moving. Stay safe, everyone.
Tea belongs to Camellia family of plants and is a native to Asia but is currently cultivated around the world, including Nigeria, in tropical and subtropical areas with over 3,000 varieties. This is the most consumed beverage in the world after water. Tea production in Nigeria started in 1982 in commercial quantity, the initial planting materials having been brought in from Cameroon and Kenya at various times. Tea planting takes place on the Mambila Plateau in Taraba State. The area has an elevation of 1,460 meters above sea level with grassland and shrubs. The weather on the Mambila Plateau being suitable for tea production has led to the siting of tea factory at Kakara, thereby providing employment for both skilled and unskilled labor, says also locals plant tea trees and sell to the tea company. Tea is grown and consumed as beverages because of its ability to stimulate the consumer. The tea plant is largely produced in a monoculture, but it can also be grown in mixture with other crops. Each type of tea has its own characteristics, including different levels of caffeine. Tea has some benefits which include improvements in the healthy state of the heart. Some tea are medicinal and prevents cancer, aiding weight loss, protection of the blood vessels, and boosting the immune system. Promotion of dental health and boost the brain and helps fight stress. All in all, just about any type of tea have some health benefits. However, excessive intake of tea is restricted. As the saying goes, the much of everything is bad. So consider drinking a cup at least once a day, as these health benefits cannot be overemphasized. As the drive to diversify the Nigerian economy gathers momentum, further development of the Nigerian tea will contribute a great deal. The Nigerian tea is indeed qualitative and has the ability to compete favorably with other brands of tea across the world.
Hello and thanks for joining us on the news on NTA International. I'm Elizabeth Omori. A look at the headlines. President Buhari flags of oil drilling northeast Nigeria. CGN to unveil redesigned 200, 500 and 1,000 naira notes Wednesday 23rd of November 2022. Plus, Information Minister advises media practitioners to always toe the path of professionalism and embrace ethics of journalism. Thanks for staying with us. Begin with the oil and gas sector. An oil drilling integrated development project has been flagged off in the Kumani oil and gas fields in the Gongola Basin of northern Nigeria's Upper Benue throughout. This followed the discovery of over 1 billion barrels of oil reserves, about 500 billion cubic feet of gas, and huge potential of more deposits in the area straddling Bauchi and Gombe states. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the historic and significant ceremony in furtherance of the administration's commitment to promoting balanced economic growth, industrialization and prosperity for all citizens. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Integrated Development Project, now in its first phase, entails the establishment on site of 120,000 barrels per day oil refinery, a gas processing plant of up to 500 million standard cubic feet, a 300 megawatts capacity power plant, as well as a fertilizer plant of 2,500 tons per day. President Muhammadu Buhari described the landmark event as significant in the economic history of Nigeria, considering the unsuccessful attempts in the past decades to find commercial oil and gas outside the established Niger Delta Basin. Already, the Kolmani Integrated Development Project, the President noted, has attracted over $3 billion worth of investments.
It's a fully integrated in situ development project comprising upstream flotation, oil refining, power generation, and fertilizer. The project promises many benefits for the nation. This includes, but not limited to, energy security, financial security, food security, as well as overall social economic development for the country.
The NNPC Limited and our strategic partners are under instruction to sustain efforts at utilizing and leveraging their vast asset portfolio across all operational corridors to de-risk the Kolmani project towards attracting the much-needed investment. Lessons learned from Nigeria's years of experience as an oil-producing nation, the president said, must be effectively utilized in the greater interest